Good day, everybody. Good day, everybody. Oh. Good day, everybody. Hear myself talk as I watch the stream. Not a good sign. So, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be playing and talking about Sunday Gold, our game from Become Studios that's available now on Steam. And I'll be playing Chapter 2, as basically I'm continuing the game that I was playing last week when I streamed. And I'll be answering questions and taking comments and interacting with people in the chat if anyone wants to talk to me. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a chin. There, too much chin. There we go. So, just a recap. Okay, let's get started. First of all, I'm Felix, a game designer at Become Studios. And I've been involved in Sunday Gold from the very beginning, all the way to the end, with a whole bunch of other people, a big team of people of different roles and skill sets that contributed to make this big game that we have right now. And Sunday Gold is an adventure game where you solve puzzles in the classic like Monkey Island, King's Quest style of game, without the classic puzzle that can break the game 5 hours before you get to a place where you can't go back. So cool puzzles. And I hope the audio balance is pretty good because in my ears it's bonkers loud. But okay, so to come back to the game. An adventure game where you pick up objects, solve puzzles, and progress through the game with elements of JRPG combat and character progression through XP and gaining new skills that you can upgrade and collecting equipment to gear up your heroes. Because right now we only have Sally. Sally's by herself, but when outside of that section of the game, we have Frank and Gavin, Sally's teammates, and colleagues in their crime adventures. So let's kind of recap where we were in the game. I'll just turn down the volume a bit because it is pretty loud. And if it's not loud enough, please let me know in the chat. But I'll be able to hear myself think and talk. So now we are in Chapter 2. So I played Chapter 1 a bit. We've played the intro plenty. And I've purposefully skipped the end of Chapter 1. So there's a big reveal at the end of Chapter 1. Now we're in Chapter 2. And we're investigating what was meant to be a warehouse, but turns out that there is an underground complex with prison cells and weird vats with glowy fog in them. And security guards and all kinds of weird stuff. So now Sally is investigating. She's trying to gain access to this big section and bring her colleagues in with her, but right now she's undercover as the boss of the facility. So I'll just bring her over here so we can have a better look at her. She's disguised as a scientist. So now she's just interacting with the guards, trying to eliminate them. In last week's stream, we eliminated 2 of them. One in the incinerator that we kind of roasted alive, and another one that we got fired in trouble with HR because she talked about unions. Now I'm going to have to deal with this Dennis Newton guy over here. I can go examine him. So Sally thinks to herself, well, he's in a pretty dangerous place with low guardrails, so could see what we're going to do with that. And I can talk to him. I talked to him last week, but...
Did you have something to do with Michelle getting called to the manager's office?
Didn't you report her twice in the last week? You should be glad.
Damn right! But you stole me thunder by getting her fired. Now I won't get credit for it.
Sorry, mate. Didn't mean to steal your credit from getting your friend fired.
I'm sure you're up to something. I'll be keeping an eye on you.
So, the guard, basically, his friend was getting in trouble with HR, and he was reporting her constantly, but now he didn't get the sort of check mark on his employee file where he got somebody fired for speaking the forbidden word in U that we have, which is unions. So now I can eliminate him. The menu is pretty obvious with what's going to happen, but let's give him a push. So good job, Sally. We shoved him off the side of the platform over here, and now he's fallen to his death. So good job. What's next? Now we have to deal with the guards. There's one guard left, so there's 3 of them, but there's one more left. So it's gonna be this guy. But first of all, I have to deal with the prisoner because he was helping me, but he asked in return to get transferred to the testing facility. So I'm gonna talk to this guy who's kind of in charge of the whole place, but really busy on his computer.
We need the prisoner in cell 84 transferred to testing.
At this time of night? The techs won't be here for hours.
I need the subject transferred, and I mean now.
Yes, ma'am. I just need a few seconds to reroute the power subsystems.
Why is that necessary? What happened?
So, if you have been following, Gavin paid a visit to this facility a week or 2 ago, and he had to set up to kind of start a fire to evade somebody that was watching over him. So, long story short, something happened in the facility.
Last week's incident, ma'am. The madman who broke in and injured the scientists. He also disabled some of the power management servers. Unfortunately, we're stuck rerouting the power when we want to move the cells around until it gets fixed.
That is unfortunate. So, you done?
Roger that, ma'am. The prisoner should be in testing in a minute or so.
So the cell is gone. It's on rails, so it just goes to the next section of the facility. And now we're done with this guy for a while. So, okay, let's try to find a way to get rid of him. But first of all, let's end the turn because we're out of action points. Because in the exploration phase where we solve puzzles and interact with the environment, we have a limited number of action points to spend every turn, where it's basically our time units where we spend a little time during our turn. When the turn is over, we're out of action points, or we choose to end the turn. It goes to the enemy phase, where in this case there was a radio that said like we're looking for them, so they're actively looking for Sally. And some other events could happen during that phase. And now I'm gonna go look at the testing facility door. Nope, I'm gonna need a key card to open. So there's a utility belt over here. So let's search that belt. We found a key card. And a police baton, nice. And some ammunition. So we can go have a look in Sally's inventory. We have a new weapon, but it's for Frank. So since Frank is not in the party right now, I can't give it to him, but I'll be able to transfer it to Frank afterwards. And I could, what's Sally's weapon? Okay, I'll give her the EMP ammunition. If I run into anything with mechanical parts, it's gonna be better. So use the key card on the door and go to the testing facility.
Oi, sweetheart. Did you deal with the guards yet?
Not quite done yet. Hold on.
Take your time. It's just lovely in here.
Sarcasm much? And now, okay. We're in this new room over here, in the testing facility, where we see the prisoner in the cell, and we can go back to the prison, but there's a couple of things that we can interact with. So let's have a look at this computer over here. We can access it. From the computer interface screen, we see that there's 2 emails in the inbox, so we can have a look at Karen Kerenson's complaint. So let's say her name fits her well. And there's issues with somebody from the Fern analyst team where basically he's magnetic and he's making computers go on the fritz when he walks by, which is not good. That's just some random flavor that we've peppered in every here and there in the game, because the world exists outside of the game, so there's some stuff going on. And now we have a poison experiment. This one's more important to the story, to the mission, basically. So we have Harvey running tests for Chuck. Now he's on experiment number 3. So he found somebody on the street, looked pretty healthy, and probably recently became homeless. So now he made a poison with 5 parts of A and 1.6 times as much ingredient B as there is ingredient A, and he delivered it in liquid form. And then, you know, you see all the report, because he wants to do a good job, so he's just like, oh, 30 seconds in, the subject's complaining that he doesn't feel so good, and then became quiet after 13 minutes, and then just died after 25. So, okay. And yeah, they have these, yeah. Harvey wants to do a good job, but he's also kind of blasé about that thing, so they have a pool running where, you know, what's gonna happen, basically. And everybody was expecting something crazy, like it'd blow up or explode or something, or just start spewing. But nothing happened, so everybody was disappointed. And issues with subjects for the tests. So now we have some information about what we could do to maybe eliminate a guard. So
Well, that's all kinds of disturbing. So, 5 parts ingredient A and 1.6 times as much ingredient B? I fucking hate math.
So we have a chemical mixing station, so that could be useful.
This combines hazardous substances safely. Pretty sure it'll make something to get rid of a guard.
So if I try to start the mix, oh, it's telling me that I'm missing a vial. So, gonna have to find a bottle to hold my liquids. So there's one over here, so I can go examine it and pick it up. It's a small bottle that I can use to put some poisons in it. So now let's go back to mixing station, insert our vial, and now let's do math. Also, to anyone in the chat, just hi. Feel free to chime in if you're here, and if you want to ask questions about the game, if you want to, maybe you've played it and you want to tell us how you enjoyed it, give criticism, constructive hopefully. I'm open to all interactions. So let's do some math. I have ingredient A over here. Is it labeled? Should be. So the first ingredient over here and the second ingredient. So if I have 5 parts of A, okay, that's simple. 1.6 times as much A as there's B. So quick math. 5 times 0.6, that's 3, and then 5 times 1, that's 5, and then 5 plus 3, that's 8. So, well, I could maybe my calculation was wrong. Let's say it's 7, 5 to 7. So I'll try to mix that. Uh-oh, unstable mix. Dang. I'll need to start over. So it's 5 to 8. I'll just start mixing that. Mixing. Success. Now I can go look in my inventory over here and see that I have a poison vial. So that red and green liquid doesn't bode well. I wouldn't take a drink. So now I have the stomachache objective over here for my mission. So we can craft some sort of poison, and she needs to find a way to administer it. Let's go back. So if we look at the guard for even 5 seconds, we can see that he's always drinking from his cup. So he's a thirsty dude, so I'm gonna come over here. And what could I do? Could I interact with his teacup to maybe slip my poison in there? So let's examine the teacup. But he'll notice her. I could take the drink.
Hey, do you want me to go and refill your cup?
Maybe that's an option. It could be helpful.
I'll be fine, ma'am. I've got a full kettle here. I take it with me everywhere. I go through 3 or 4 per day.
Okay, so he doesn't want me to refill his drink. Could try to poison the drink. Nope. Okay, so I'll end the turn because I'm out of action points. He won't find it suspicious at all that I'm just lurking next to him. Okay, and that restores a little bit of composure. Now Sally's not lurking anymore, she's confident. So I could examine the tea kettle. That's an option. And I'll put the poison vial in there. So maybe if I spill this drink now that the kettle is spiked.
What's this on your monitor? Oh, sorry. Spilled your tea.
Oh shit! My tea! Oh, are you okay, ma'am?
He's got priorities in the right places.
Yes, I'm fine. So sorry about that. I could grab you another cuppa if you like.
I'll be fine, ma'am. Not to worry. I've always got my trusty kettle with me.
Which, as we remember, is spiked. And then... Ooh. Already starting to feel woozy.
I think I'm coming down with something all of a sudden. Not feeling so hot. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Well, that was quick. He shouldn't be a problem anymore.
So now all the guards are gone. So good job, me. Now Sally cleared the way for Frank and Gavin to reach her, but now she has to go back to the testing facility because she wants to help the
You done with the
prisoners.
guards yet?
Yeah, they're all gone now.
Took you long enough. Now help me out of this cell.
How do I do that?
I've seen them open the cells using the computer on the desk over there.
Okay, I'll take a look at it and see what I can do.
Don't worry. I ain't going nowhere.
Uh-oh. That's not a good sign.
What was that? Don't open the cell!
Guess I'll have to take care of that. Whatever the fuck that is.
Now I can fight the panther before I open the cell, because otherwise the vagrant's gonna get eaten. One moment. Sorry about that. Oh, phone call. Now I'm in combat with the Panther. That's the JRPG combat part where now I'm gonna have to deal with it with Sally's skills and attacks. I can try to punch it, but it's not gonna be all that useful because it's just normal damage. Or I can try my EMP bullets, which are gonna be a little better. Hopefully they're gonna hit. Now the Panther is a decent threat. Okay. I mean, 45% should have hit. I can try one of Sally's skills, but Adrenaline Rush is nice because it improves my chance to hit. Let's try that. Some decent damage.
Not a chance.
I'm out of action points, so I can use the guard action to restore my some action points and reduce damage that I take until the next turn. So I'll do that. Now the Panther is cloaked, which is an issue. So I could heal myself to let the cloak wear out, because and that removes bleeding as well, so it's useful. But now the Panther, you know, his sharp claws just applies bleeding again, and 40% chance. Yes. And hopefully that'll be a done deal now. Oh yeah. So Sally gets experience points, and she gets a new weapon, Bladed Knuckles. That basically are the Panther's claws that she can now use as brass knuckles. So I can equip that weapon because it's awesome, and it does more damage than the iron knuckles that I currently have. Slightly less accuracy, but more crit chance and crit damage. So that's worth it. Because her SMG's kind of crappy on accuracy, but 3 hits with bonus damage because you're targeting mechanical enemies, sometimes it's worth it. So let's look at the control board over here. That's not what I'm looking for. I can look at the tablet. Or access the tablet, maybe. That's probably not all that useful for now, but let's keep that in mind. We have prototypes on the tablet. And then the computer, I can open the cell with it, so let's do that.
Holy shit! You saved my ass! Thought I was done for.
How did you end up in here anyway?
I was just sitting on the sidewalk, minding my own business. Van pulls up, and some goons grab me and bring me here. I'm usually able to scare away trouble. Just swing something heavy and get that mad look in your eyes. But when I reach for Margaret, I realize the shady bloke who tossed me some coins had taken it.
Margaret? You swing your girlfriend at the goons?
In a way, she's my Iron Lady. She was all I had.
And how do you know so much about what's going on in here?
I was a lab tech here, prepping tests, running lab reports. My arsehole colleagues pinned an accident on me, and I got sacked.
I'm on a tight schedule here. Can you find a way out on your own?
Sure thing. Might even grab me a snack from the break room before I leave. Thanks again for the help.
Oh, and he gives me an emergency key that he had promised me earlier last week in my stream. So that's good. And also, speaking of the game, we've seen a couple of conversations between characters with the portraits or sometimes in chat bubbles when they're in the room. These are all voiced in English for all languages and in French Canadian, so basically Québécois French, for the French Canadian translation that we have. And the entire game is voiced, except for the whenever a character is just thinking. If you're examining something, they're just talking in their heads, so you're not going to have that voice, but you can read it. And when they're talking between each other, between themselves, or with other characters, it's all voiced. So I can end my turn, because I'm out of action points, and then I'll open the door and go back to see the guys. Hopefully not get into a fight. We're good. So let's swipe that emergency key. So lobby, and I can go to the lobby now. Hey, the guys are there.
Alright, the hard work has been done. The way is clear.
Ah, hard work. I had to listen to Frank's war stories this whole time.
Them's good stories. Should cost you a few pints.
How'd it go with the guard in the warehouse?
Not as bad as I expected. Daft twat really thought I was Diane. Can you believe it?
Absolutely. You look just like her.
More like my perfect acting that made it happen.
Didn't run into any other trouble?
Best not talk about it. Let's get on with it. And Frank, you won't believe what you'll see.
Because up until then, Frank was really suspicious that, yeah, right, there's a giant complex beneath a warehouse in the city, like, pff, come on. But now he's going to discover what's going on there. So now Sally's back into her regular clothes, and the guys are ready to go explore the other part of the facility. But first of all, I'll give Frank the police baton because it's a big upgrade compared to his old butterfly knife. A giant upgrade. Like 8 to 14 damage or 26 to 38, so that's getting orders of magnitude. Sort of. Almost. And then it's really good though. So now Gavin's just there. He doesn't have anything new, I think. No, but we're still good. So I'm gonna go to the testing facility with the entire team now that everybody's reunited.
Oh, this is even more sinister than I thought.
They send test subjects directly to these cells.
And yeah, I thought you was completely full of shit.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking real.
Let's keep moving. You won't believe it.
So now let's go look at the prison.
Secret fucking prison lab. Told you.
Leave it to Hogan to pull some weird-ass shit like this. Fuck the rich.
Gavin, why don't you go take a look at that computer? See if there's any info about this place we could use.
Will do.
So now we have to see what happened to the former occupant of cell 68. Oh, first of all, I'm gonna level up. Before all that. And Frank and Sally both level up. Now Sally's level 8, Frank's level 7, and Gavin's level 6. When we level up, we get better attributes. Basically, Sally got a couple more hit points, Frank did as well, and they get a little more accuracy or avoidance to avoid damage. But they also get skill points. So in the skill tree, we have basically that's Frank's skill set or abilities that we see here. So Frank's skilled with long guns, so he uses like rifles and shotguns, basically firearms that you hold two-handed to fight. Some light melee weapons, so basically knives, flashlights, and police batons. He can investigate, so he has skills to pick locks to kind of see what's happening in combat and kind of figure out the situation. And to scan the room in case you're missing, you don't see all the objects or you think you're missing something, you can use observe to reveal everything in the room. And he also has a leadership tree where basically he's the leader, so he's buffing everybody to kind of reduce their composure damage. So when they take composure damage, which is basically stress, they are more resistant because Frank is there. And you can upgrade that to make them more resistant against that composure damage, and they're going to regain more composure because Frank is, you know, he's tough and he knows what he's doing, so everybody's kind of, oh, we're bolstered by Frank being with us. And now he also has a focus ability, so in combat he can designate an enemy and say like, oh, target this guy, and that enemy is going to take more damage because they're going to be marked, so they're going to have less resistance to damage, and they're going to be not as good at avoiding attacks because they've been marked, so everybody knows who to target. Can motivate his allies to give them basically a general buff that makes them better at everything for a short time. And he can appease one of his allies to make them resistant to stress, but also to restore some of their composure if they start slipping and kind of losing their minds a bit. But currently, I would like to put some points in Artery Slash, because it's useful when you get the enemies with more hit points, like bosses, for example. Having an attack that does a percentage of the target's full health as damage. So when a target's bleeding, they lose 1% of their total hit points every turn that they take. And bleeding can stack to, I think, 9 or 10. Probably 10. It's been a while since I got it all the way up, but I've seen 7 plus, so I think it goes to 10. And if you get 10 stacks of bleeding from multiple hits with Artery Slash, with Sally's Blade and Knuckles, Frank's Knives, and other abilities, some of Gavin's special grenades and stuff, they're going to start taking a lot of damage every turn, and it's going to really add up. So in a couple of turns, they're going to be dead. So that's really, really useful. And I'm going to put another point in light melee weapon mastery, which makes every attack with light melee weapons better. It's the sort of, hey, you know how to use knives? Well, you're better with knives overall. Gavin, oh, he still has some action points, some skill points that I can put in there. So what's Gavin's deal currently? He does grenade attacks, which is really good. So it does some damage, and it can inflict a bunch of status effects, so it can confuse enemies or frighten them, which just makes them a little worse at everything. Stun enemies, which is really good. If you stun an enemy, they can't avoid attacks and they just take a lot more damage, so you can just go all out with the strongest stuff that you have. Overload is also good against cybernetic enemies, so I'll put points in that. As well as just heavy melee weapons. Now Sally has 2 skill points that I'm going to spend in her brick wall ability, so she can take more damage without keeling over, and brutality, so she's just like better at crits to deal more damage. So now let's get back to the mission. So all signs point to Gavin being right about this place. Again, the mission log is Frank's journal. He just like writes down notes in there where, you know, what he's feeling about that mission or that objective, what's happening in the mission right now, how he's feeling about Gavin, whom he doesn't trust at all. And yeah, okay, so now we have to discover the fate of Cell 68's former occupant, because that looks like our way into the lab, and it needs to be activated with a code. So let's look at the cell registry. So we can look at the control panel. So I'm gonna need a 4-digit code. And there's no way, it doesn't have power, I think, currently. So let's take Gavin into the computer and hack the computer. So the hacking minigame, where basically you're playing Mastermind with special rule tweaks where, depending on the difficulty of the hack, currently it's a hard one. I have all 6 digits over here that are possibly in the combination. That is a 4-digit combination. And currently, because Gavin's a little bit, he's a little bit stressed, he's at 80 composure out of 100. You see that the digits are flickering every now and then, just a little bit. Like we're gonna see that 3 just went to an E. So I'm gonna try to figure out the combination. All ones. So all ones, I'm getting 4, well, currently they're purple, but there are 4 red squares that tell me that there's no 1 in the combination. Could try 2s. Oh, okay, well, that's gonna be simple. So that tells me that there's 3 circles and 1 square. The square means that one of the digits is incorrect. And the 3 circles tell me that one of the digits is correct and in the right position. It could be the first 3, but it could be the last 3, or first 2 and the last one. It could be a mix. So let's assume it's the first 3, and we'll refine from there when we find the final digits. The final digit. 2, 2, 2, 3. Okay, now that's some good information. We know that there's no 3 because we have 3 2s, and the fourth one is basically a red square, so that tells me that there's no 3 in there, and that one of the 2s is in the wrong place. So that, like, deducing that, we can say that, oh, there's a 2 in the final position. So let's try 2 2 4 2. Oh, okay, now we know that there's a 4 because there's no more red square in the feedback. These little shapes over here. And we also know that one of the first 2 2s and the 4 aren't in the right place, so we're gonna have to find out which goes where. So let's write 2 4 2 2. And that's a success. So I've hacked the computer like a boss. Yeah. And when we see the interface, we see that there's this Hacker Boy Ultra device in super elite speak. It's really stylish. And in the narrative of the game, Gavin built this little device that interfaces with computers and any electronics to hack them if needed. So that's why he's so proud of his little Hacker Boy Ultra. Now I can access the computer. And we have an inbox of new subjects. So an email about new subjects. So the really important bit in that email is the fact that there's a cell access code that has to be input for every cell, and it's the occupant's ID code. So they have a registry somewhere of like, oh, this like cell 14 is this code that goes with it if you want to move it in the facility. And they have a bracelet on, and their arm is chipped if you're not sure. So there's an image of the bracelet. Looks like iron or steel, so let's keep that in mind. Now we have the registry of all the cells, which Sally was asking about earlier. I can go look at all the cells in the building. There's 90 of them at least. So cells 1 through 10. We see all the cells that aren't blank, and we get little hints of maybe what's happening in the entire facility. So we have in cell 4 we have a subject that's healthy and he's in cybernetics. Okay. In cell 6 there's a vagrant and he's in the biolab. Cool. And in cell 9 there's somebody that's deceased and in cybernetics. Probably not that good. So we can look at all of those. If we want to make progress, we have to look at this one over here. And now we have in cell 62 a vagrant in the testing facility. Okay. And in cell 68 we have the test is complete, subject terminated, and biohazardous materials sent to the incinerator. So now we know that the last occupant of cell 68 is now in the incinerator. So something to keep in mind. And now I can leave the interface.
This computer appears to control the cell transfer system. Ooh, I think I've got an idea.
Colour me intrigued, but your track record has been rather spotty so far, mate.
Again, Frank doubts Gavin.
How about we hear him out before we shit all over his plan?
But Sally's the voice of reason. Frank's the leader of the group, but Sally's the brains. So she kind of tries to keep Frank in check a bit.
Sure. What you got for us, Gav?
Right, we could send someone up into the lab in one of the cells. And since I have to operate the system, I'll need Sally around in case more guards show up.
That would mean you'd be going by yourself, Frank.
How about we get Gavin to teach me how to operate the cell movement apparatus thingy?
Cell transfer system.
And then we can send him instead, no? Fine. We'll go with the Twits plan then.
First off, we'll need to find the code to operate Cell 68. The email mentioned that each prisoner is assigned a code on their handcuffs.
The cell is empty. Where's the prisoner?
We could probably find what happened to them in the cell registry. It's on the computer.
So let's go double check that the occupant is in cell 68.
Cell 68. Test complete. Subject terminated. Biohazardous material sent to incinerator.
Huh, that's not good.
Do you think the bracelet could have survived the incinerator?
If we're lucky, we should go check.
So now we know what to do. We have to go check inside the incinerator. Whoopee. So let's go have a look. Sally has her kind of stressed out, spooked face a bit, so let's go have a look in there with the entire group. Yeah, the incinerator is pretty bad.
Everyone okay?
I'm not sure I can handle this. Do we really need to be in here?
Listen, I don't like it either, but all signs point to our guy being in here.
And we need his code to operate the cell, remember?
Yeah, no problem. We get the code, we get out of here. Immediately. Deal?
No argument from me.
So now we have to find a code inside the incinerator. So there's not that much stuff that we can interact with right now. We can look at the floor trap. But I think, let's look at the trash chute first.
Thought we could have climbed up to the morgue from here. There's no grip at all.
Did you go through here last time?
I think so, but it's a little fuzzy to be honest. I vaguely remember climbing the chute.
Why can't we do it now?
There was a chain hanging from up there, and the lid was open, but it is closed now.
Of course it is. Keep looking for another way up.
So basically that confirms that the cell is going to be the way to go to get into the lab. So now we can look at the pile of body parts.
No! I can't deal with this! We have to get out!
This is disgusting. I can't even understand what I'm looking at.
Do you think our guy could be in there?
You're probably right, but I'm not putting my hands into it. We're looking for a metal bracelet. Maybe I could scavenge some parts to make a metal detector or a magnet. Anything so I don't have to reach in there.
Yeah, it's not really appealing. It's goopy and gross.
Sounds great.
So,
Anything to avoid getting elbows deep into this pile of guts.
so now our next objective is to find the parts to fabricate a metal detector. So now Frank explains what we could do to make that happen. And that he needs a battery, a coil of copper wire, and a circuit board. So let's get out of the incinerator first, because that place is nasty.
Holy shit. Glad to be out of there.
No kidding. Gav, you said you can make a metal detector to find the bracelet without getting our hands all gutsy?
I think I could make something work.
What do you need?
A lot of copper wire to make into a coil. Could probably scavenge it from something mechanical. Then I could use a programmable circuit board to serve as the brains of the machine. 10 quid at an electronics shop, but we'll have to improvise. Finally, the machine will need a power source. Any simple battery will do.
We'll be on the lookout for everything.
So let's go look at the prototypes. So there's a bunch of experiments over here that we could launch, or if we want to be like more precise.
Oh, these prototypes are amazing. Robot dogs, drones. Very cool shit.
I'll let the characters talk, of course.
Cool shit that will probably be used on protesters, civilians, dogs. Yeah, very cool.
The prototypes all have a new kind of enhancement that they're testing. Pretty much super tech.
These enhancements, could we monetize them?
Because again, if you haven't followed the prologue, they're pretty much working for money right now because Frank's in big debts, and you know Sally's working a 9-to-5 job where she doesn't make a ton of cash. So they're trying to improve their lot right now. So they're trying to find ways to make money. The initial plan was to get some data in Chapter 1 that didn't really pan out. They didn't get anything. But now they're trying to find a way to kind of get by.
Probably. If we extract them from the prototypes, we'd have a bunch of spare parts that people may be interested in.
Might be worth keeping them.
So now we have all these prototypes. So prototype A is a turret that has an augmentation and basically an analysis and what it's supposed to do. So a hypothesis and anticipated result. And then the support drone has a magnetic grip. So magnetic. We've talked about copper wires earlier, so that might be associated. And then the Cyber K9 has an adrenaline drip injector, so that could be useful as well. Prototype D has improved processing chip wiring, and prototype E has something else. So let's try one of them at random.
Alert.
Don't even know which one I clicked.
Launching experiment C.
Oh, experiment C.
Please be cautious.
So now we have a guard robot dog. Gonna have to deal with it. He's a tough guy, so let's use Sally's EMP bullets. Pretty useful. Can whack him upside the head.
Son of a bitch!
Now that he's staggered, I'll use something better than blind fire because it doesn't do any damage, or it's...
That's just fucking wrong!
Holy shit!
Let's restore Frank's action points.
I'll take your cover!
Same with Sally. And then hopefully Gavin will hit a home run. Almost.
Holy shit!
Stay away from me!
I think that should do it.
Ah, sweet dreams.
So now we have picked up an adrenaline drip injector that provides a steady supply of adrenaline into the wearer's bloodstream to increase their combat capabilities. So that's good. I can go have a look at that item. Gavin had it. So I'm going to do more damage with melee weapons in general. So I could give it to Frank since he's not using anything right now. So I'll give it to Frank. Now Frank's going to deal 10% more damage with his melee weapons. Now I can launch experiment B.
Alert. Alert. Launching experiment D. Please be cautious.
And it's a security drone.
We're right fucked!
That's...
Holy shit!
I can take it.
Ouch.
Stay away from me! Ah, sweet
Okay.
dreams.
So now we found some hollow point ammunition and copper wire, so that's good. Now we have one of the 3 pieces that we need for 3 components that we need for the metal detector.
This'll do the trick.
It's just a bit of wire. What's so special about it?
It'll make a great coil for the metal detector.
Make it so, Gav.
So that's good. Now we have more stuff to make. Well, if we go look at Gavin over here, we have this copper wire over here. So that's one of the 3 components that we need to have for the metal detector that we're going to work on. And we found some hollow point ammunition as well. I'll save it for another time. So I can interact with the control board some more, because when we looked at the tablet, we saw that Experiment D had this circuit board that we're looking for.
Experiment D. Please be cautious.
So that's a bigger, tougher dog with more pustules.
Holy shit!
We are truly...
Sounds like a dog and pig mix. Squeals weird, but
Son of a bitch!
We're right fucked!
try overloading.
Holy shit!
Lights out.
Yeah, overload at max level, pretty strong. Now Gavin leveled up. I have 2 more skill points to allocate. And I found a circuit board.
Brilliant. This circuit board will be easy to reprogram. Makes sense it's installed on a prototype. Easy to make adjustments since no chips are soldered on.
Better put in your special nerd backpack.
What do you think I'm doing now?
You're a twat.
Frank has the snark on point, and Gavin can't really get sarcasm, I guess. So now I can go look at these items that I have, the circuit board and the copper wire. All that's missing is a battery now, so I'm gonna go find it in the lobby. Well, in the utility room, I mean. So we see that the drone over here is sparking a lot. So I'm going to try to find... Well, I'm going to go look at the drone first. So we can see that there are 2 screws, but I can't unscrew them with my bare hands. So I'm going to have to try to find a toolbox somewhere. On the workbench? No. Could use Frank's observe ability. After I end the turn. So now I'm going to use Frank's observability since I want to make sure that I've seen everything. And it reveals all that's interactive in the room. And I can see that this cabinet over here and the toolbox on top will probably have a screwdriver in them. So what can we do if we can't reach the toolbox that's on top of the cabinet? We can use Sally and her strength to knock the server cabinet around and hopefully knock the toolbox off the server cabinet. Nope, I think it moved a bit. So now, oh, it's on the edge. Let's give that another go. Hit again. Good job. And now let's use Gavin since it's going to be better. We won't have to move objects around. So we found a screwdriver. And let's go look at that drone and unscrew the panel. And examine the battery and pick it up. So good as new, I'm taking this with me.
Great. Well, this battery will provide enough power to run the metal detector.
That's good. You sure this'll all work?
I've cobbled together my fair share of devices and contraptions. Fairly certain I'll be able to get it to function.
Calling it a contraption doesn't help with my confidence level, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
And I think that's all we need.
So we found all 3 components for the metal detector.
We fetched all the bits you were looking for.
Yep. Now all that's left is to assemble it.
That sounds like a painful undertaking.
Actually, it should be pretty simple. The workbench in the utility room should have all the tools I'll need to build it. Just give me all the parts and I'll make the magic happen.
You mean something involving Frank Barber could actually turn out to be simple and go well? That would be a first.
Speaking of snark, Sally holds her own as well.
I wouldn't gloat too much, Sally. You may have been there for some of the hits, but you've also been there for all the misses.
So yeah, a little couple of jabs here and there between Frank and Sally. And now Gavin is ready to build the metal detector. So that's a metal detector now.
Okay, it's not fancy, but it should do the trick.
Pretty impressive work, considering what we had on hand.
Much better than digging through a pile of body parts blind.
So I can go back to the incinerator by going through the lobby. Oh, now there's the guards. Uh-oh, they found us. I'll take care of the guards. That's a good hit. Shotguns have a chance to splash on other targets, so that's useful. And I'll finish off the drone. Yes.
Holy shit!
No, let's shotgun this guy. Boom.
Gotcha.
We're right sweet dreams.
Oh, didn't waste any time there. Now I can go improve some of Gavin's abilities. Let's put some points in hacking because upgrading the Gavin has hacking, Frank has lockpicking, and Sally has strength. They're minigame related skills. When you upgrade them, you reduce the cost of the action point costs of the minigames, and you reduce the difficulty as well. So if you find the hard hacking minigame and you're at rank 1 or rank 4, it's going to be different because you're going to have, I think, fewer possible digits in the combination. I designed and worked on the games, but on the minigames, but it's been a while. So you're going to have fewer digits that can be part of the combination, so it's going to be easier to solve. So yeah, so basically we put points in there, and we can put points in Chemical Cocktail, which it's pretty expensive at 5, but if you have Gavin kind of just not doing anything during your turn, you can upgrade some consumables that are going to become better if we have a look right now. We're gonna do it quickly before the stream ends. So we have Sally picked up Painkiller's prescription strength, so she can use these, and she's gonna restore 60% of her hit points. But if Gavin upgrades them, now they become Painkiller's back alley strength. They're significantly stronger They're going to restore 80% of your hit points, and they're going to cure fractures because they're really potent. So whenever Gavin puts time, aka action points, into upgrading consumables, such as basic painkillers, adrenaline, they gain this little icon over here. The little, it's not a beaker, it's a like conical flask or something that looks like a cocktail, like chemical cocktail. Get it? And when you put some points in that, you upgrade these consumables and they become just stronger, basically. And most of the time, if they have a negative side effect, they're gonna go away. So if you have, if you have adrenaline over here, it reduces your composure when you use it because you're gonna be so like amped up. But if you upgrade it with Gavin, I think it reduces composure a lot less or not at all because it's just smoother now. He's good at what he does. And I think that's all the time we have for today. So thanks everybody for listening, for watching. Just a reminder that Sunday Gold, the game, is available now on Steam. It's a decent price, and I think it's some good entertainment if you're looking for an adventure game, let's say a modern style adventure game with a cool narrative that feels like a sort of heist movie, sometimes with B-movie elements, but like a really stylish world and fun characters that interact with each other with a lot of cussing. Some uncool people would say too much, but cool people say just enough. And it's made, I could have spoken French the whole time as well, but it's made by us at Become Studios in Quebec City by, let's go, let's go to the title screen and look at them credits before we go. But yeah, it's made by a whole bunch of talented people in Quebec City and in a couple of other different places. Yay, remote work. And in collaboration with Team 17 that are our publisher, and the Canada Media Fund, Volta Studios that worked on some of the art, because if you have been watching, you can see that the art is pretty freaking sweet. And PVL Audio that makes all the audio sound effects and background music and ambiance that we have all over the place. And a whole bunch of other people that we're going to see in the credits right now. And I've worked as a game designer on the game alongside a couple of other colleagues that designed different parts of the game. We designed it together. And let's look at the credits, and that's probably going to be my sign off for now. And yeah, let's go credits now. So Sunday Gold. So all these people are what make the game possible, and it goes by pretty quickly. But yeah, that's a whole lot of people that just like either worked on the game for a couple of days or 2+ years in different functions, giving their time. Well, they're working, but contributing their time and talent to this big project that ends up making something that people can play. That's still amazes me. That's my job, but it's still amazing that you start with ideas on paper somewhere and you just say like, okay, we have this idea for characters for this kind of world in this setting, and that stuff's gonna happen and it's gonna play that way, and then you just give that to people, and then you just shape your clay into something that becomes a full game. And yeah, again, that's it takes a village. Basically, it takes a lot of people to make cool stuff like that happen. And just gonna basically let the credits roll and remind you that you can pick up the game right now. You can try it. You can join us on our Discord. It has a name somewhere, which if I go see the name of the Discord, basically it's Sunday Gold. And if you join us on Discord, you can chat with us. You can ask questions if you're stuck somewhere. If you're Just, if you have praise to shower on us, just go nuts. And yeah, just basically we're reaching the end of the credits. So as a reminder, the game is available now, and I think that'll be that for me. So thank you all. Signing off, Felix from Ecom Studios. Catch you all next time. Bye everybody.